love to talk about vision, mindset, hustle, but if I asked you your daily metrics, the data behind your business operations, you'd choke. Please understand, business is not about how you feel, it's about the numbers. We're about to dissect the fundamental system that will 7x your 10K a month info product business. Now, this mechanism we're about to walk through is comprised of 3 systems, all of which come together in beautiful unity to do nothing but increase your revenue in a predictable and scalable format. Now, the reason why most entrepreneurs fail, and this system is going to highlight that, is because they rely on feelings. I've been there myself. I've had record revenue days where I felt behind. I've had terrible days in terms of revenue, but I felt on top of the world. Sometimes you feel like shit for no reason. That is life, especially as an entrepreneur, but your numbers will not lie. The way you feel about your business is subjective. Numbers and data are objective. Now, the first system that comprises this mechanism is a very simple daily report, an end of day report. Maybe simple doesn't mean that it is not important. Now, the way that this works is we need to reverse engineer and work out the most important metrics to track for your specific business. Not all metrics are relevant to all businesses. For example, a cost per lead may be hyper relevant to an info product, but irrelevant to an e-commerce brand. And so let's say hypothetically we take an info product, we're going to work out the important metrics for that business. Cost per lead, super important. Lead to call conversion, so how many leads that come through the door end up booking calls. Very important metric. Show rate. How many people who book actually attend calls? Close rate. How many of the calls that attended did we turn into sales? These are all hyper relevant metrics to an info product. And so what we can do now is reverse engineer these metrics from, let's say, $100,000 a month. We know that if we're going to do $100,000 in cash collected, we need to sell 10 deals at $10,000. Therefore, if we have a lead to call conversion rate of 10%, we now know how many leads we need. We can then reverse engineer the required show rate. So we need X amount of leads. We then need to convert 50% of them into calls. We need 30% of those calls to show, and we need an additional 40% of those shows to close. If all of those numbers are true, it is a fundamental fact that we will generate $100,000 because numbers don't lie. And so what we need to do is systemize the daily collection of all of these important metrics that we've outlined. We can do that one of 2 ways. One, with a daily report, which can be delegated to a VA, team member, appointment setter, whatever it is. And this is the way that we used to run it in our previous business. Number 2, which is something I implemented in our newest business, actually an e-commerce business, is an automated metric tracking system. Not as simple as a manual report like this, but works wonders, and it's completely out of sight, out of mind. As you can see here, this is an N8N flow, runs 6 a.m. daily. It will pull in sales metrics. It will pull in ad spend. It will put in Google Analytics, so total views, conversions, all these things. It will then add all of this to a centralized database, which is what we're going to go through shortly, our metrics dashboard, and it runs this every single day. And so what we can do is set up either number 1, an automation to collect all of your important data, add it to a central database, or simply create a super simple delegation system where we've got a daily report with the important metrics that we have reverse engineered, create an SOP, send it off to a VA, get it done on a daily basis with automated reminders. So, in summary, system number 1 from this 3-part mechanism, work out key metrics, have them collected on a daily basis, whether it be automated or delegated. And then we go into system 2, which is where all of these metrics are stored. So, when we do, I'm going to go back over here actually really quick. When we do work out our key metrics, we want to tie them to a specific part of the business. So for example, our cost per lead, that's a great number to know, but if we don't know what it's telling us, we can't do shit about it, right? If our cost per lead is too high, what do? Well, we fundamentally know our cost per lead is directly tied to our ad creatives. This can be the creative itself, the copy, the messaging, or the angle. Then our lead to call conversion rate. What if it's too low? What do? Well, that is tied directly to your appointment setting. And so if we're getting an abundance of leads coming through the door and they're all qualified, but we're not converting many to calls, then we either need a better setter, we need to train our setter better. Next, show rate. We fundamentally know that if our show rate is too low, our nurture sequence needs to be improved. If people are booking but they're not showing up to the call, we're not nurturing them well enough from the point of booking to the actual call itself. Finally, the close rate. If we're not closing enough deals, our sales is shit. We need to improve our sales framework. And so this is why it's so important to not only know what our important metrics are, what the numbers actually are for these metrics, but also what part of the business these metrics link to. Phase 2, metrics dashboard. So this is merely a visual representation of your daily, weekly, and monthly metrics tied into your benchmarks, and we can create very clear comparisons, and you're going to see the correlations between metrics and results. So for example, this is just a mock data graph thingy that I've put in here, but effectively, this is our cost per lead. Our target cost per lead is $9.50. As you can see, our actual cost per lead is fluctuating between $10 and $10.25, meaning we have not hit our target cost per lead. And so if our target cost per lead is too high, we need to improve our ad creatives. And so this is a super clear indication of what we need to do to optimize our business. We also fundamentally know that this is obviously not all of the metrics, but assuming it was, if every single one of these 5 metrics were below their red line, or they were hitting their target, we would hit our revenue goal, because these metrics have been reverse engineered. If X, Y, and Z equal A, B, C, then revenue equals goal. It's super simple. It is math, and you cannot defy math. And so what we do here with our metrics dashboard is not only do we see our raw data and how it compares to our benchmarks on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, but we can also see, and this is hyper important, metrics compared to revenue and other correlated metrics. So for example, we would be able to create a graph here where we've got our, let's say hypothetically, our total revenue on one line, and then the other line will be our cost per lead. And you'll be able to see the correlation between our revenue. Does it go up and down when our target or our cost per lead goes up and down? And so this is why your metrics are so fucking important, because there is often a direct correlation between certain metrics and your revenue. And if we can work out what the correlation is, what we need to optimize, how to optimize it, there is zero reason as to why we shouldn't be scaling. So that is phase 2, system number 2 of this mechanism. Phase 3 is the company tap. And this is one of my favorite concepts. Something we implemented in our last agency, and it worked an absolute treat. This is an automated mechanism that sends real-time indicators to whoever needs to see them. In most cases, it's going to be you. Not only do you get your daily report sent to you, so your daily quantitative and qualitative report, qualitative being the written analysis, so this is X, Y, and Z, this is how it's impacting the business, and then quantitative being, this is the number, this is how many leads we've had, this is the total revenue. Absolute game changer. And so the way that this works, it's an automated system that analyzes your key metrics, so your inputs, here and here. So it analyzes these metrics, and then shows you their correlation with revenue, which is the output. And so this is the old versus new way. The old way is revenue's dropped, I don't know why, I'm just gonna hustle and no. It's like you got a blindfold on and you're working as hard as you fucking can, but you're working blind because you don't know what you're optimizing. The new way is very simple. Revenue has dropped, don't know why. Let's go look at the dashboard. Cool, it looks like my cost per lead has increased. When I go look at here, there's a positive correlation here. Our cost per lead, hypothetically, kept on and on going up. And then I go, oh, that's funny. My revenue's dropped, but my cost per lead has gone up. And so now you're getting the same number of leads or less leads for the same spend. So let's say you spent $1,000 on ads. Your cost per lead has gone up. You used to get 100 leads. Now you only get 80. And so if you're getting less leads for the same amount of ad spend, you have less leads to potentially close. Obviously, your revenue is going to drop. And so we can try and increase our close rate, but that's just putting a Band-Aid over the issue. It's not actually solving the problem at hand. And so if we want to improve our cost per lead by decreasing it, we need to refine our creatives, our ad messaging, our copy, our angles. Then when we do that, our cost per lead drops, more leads from the same ad spend, revenue increases. Do you understand how? The old way. It's the blind, frantic, hustling entrepreneur. Yes, he works hard. That's respectable. But he doesn't know what the fuck he's working on because he doesn't have any clear indications and metric dashboards. And so this automated mechanism will send feedback in real time, telling you what part of the business has dropped below benchmark, how to optimize it, and then create an action plan. And all of a sudden, you're not operating from a place of, oh no, my revenue's dropped, like what am I gonna do? Oh, maybe I work harder. It tells you exactly what you need to optimize in order to increase your revenue. And so the way that we do this for our clients is very simple. Actually, I need to explain this analogy. Without having a metric dashboard like this system we've just gone through, it is like going to a doctor's office and saying, excuse me, doc, it hurts. What hurts? He doesn't fucking know. And so he can give you all the painkillers in the world. All that's going to do is put a Band-Aid over the symptom. And eventually, when you build a tolerance to those painkillers, the pain's going to come back and the problem hasn't gone anywhere. Whereas if you go to the doctor and you say, hey, my elbow hurts because I fell on a concrete pillar and I knocked the bone and I think it's fractured, all of a sudden he can prescribe a specific solution to your problem. So that is what it's like operating within a business without clear metrics, dashboards, indicators, all of this stuff. It's like going to a doctor and saying it hurts. He has no context whatsoever. And so what I will say is the way we do this for our clients is very simple. It's exactly what I've just said to you, but we have an automated system and mechanism to do so. We work out their key metrics. Super important. If you're tracking the wrong metrics, it ain't gonna work for you. We work out their key metrics. Then we create a systemized daily report with qualitative and quantitative feedback. Systemized, whether it be delegated or automated, obviously it's dependent upon that person's business. We package that into a customized dashboard. Everything I've gone through, we host this on our own servers. And so you have full transparency on your specific metrics, the benchmarks we've set, which are in relation to your target revenue, meaning if you want to make $100,000 a month, we'll work out exactly what your metrics need to be in order to hit that, which will then be displayed here with the red lines. And now you have something to work towards in order to hit that number. It's not just hoping you hit 100K a month. And then we tie every single metric into a specific sector of the business, like I've done here. We tie cost per lead to ad creatives, lead to call conversions, setting scripts, etc., etc., etc. Every single metric will have a specific action step tied to it in order to optimize it. And then from there, we have a systemized tap mechanism that's going to highlight inefficiencies in real time, send out weekly reports, qualitative and qualitative. Most importantly, putting a really clear focus on one metric so we can optimize that. So if you got value from this video and you're sick of all the fake gurus plastered all over your social media, subscribe below because I'm going to continue sharing genuine valuable insights that will help scale any high ticket offer.